live.
Are you ready? Got your music?
We are live. On Facebook, you want to monitor any chats that come in?
Mm-hmm.
What happens? Oh, excuse me.
Alright, you want to go live on Facebook?
Yeah, go live.
Your face isn't on it. There, you'll be in it.
I don't have a hat.
Good morning!
Where's my hat?
You don't need a hat, you've got all that hair.
I still got it. Alright. Today. Look at this. It's been a huge week actually, in lots and lots of different reasons. I'm consulting all over the place for some big companies, some very big brands. Lots of things, lots of new things rolling out, lots of new things coming, lots of innovation. I sat down in a meeting, I actually sat in an interview with the Chief Marketing Officer of Kimberly. She was amazing. Simona was full of great information and great experience from the industry. What else? Been sitting down with some innovation teams for new products and thinking about what can be invented or what can be implemented into the kitchen in the future. So that's fun for me because we can definitely use my knowledge, use my experience and certifications and all that fun stuff to help better the experience at home. We've also been working with some people up in Virginia, going to help them get up and running. We're also helping people local. Actually, we've got a couple of shops happening locally.
Yeah, new drive-through coming.
New drive-through coming. What else we got? Been playing with coffee, always playing with coffee. Our espresso blend. I'm running in this machine today. I'm going to run an experiment. I'm doing a down under 2.0, so a little bit darker today. See what happens when we're going to make some lattes. But what we're here to do today is go back to basics. It's espresso at home, and we're putting together a program that will come online probably within the next month or two of machines subscription, owning a machine for free on a coffee subscription program. So we're implementing that and we're putting that together right now. So if you're looking for espresso at home, we're here to educate you, we're here to show you how, we're here to supply the machines, we're here to look after you on the coffee side and do all those fun things. So what is espresso? Espresso, take note that there is no X in espresso. It is ESPRESSO.
And he can spell!
And I can spell. How about that? So, espresso, it is coffee delivered under pressure. It is not a bean. It is not a roast level. It is not, what else is it not? It's a preparation of a drink. The drink is prepared under pressure from a machine specifically built for the deliverance of coffee. So it is a coffee drink delivered under pressure.
Invented by Italians.
Invented by Italians, yep. And the most basic, actually, I think, the most basic method of espresso and where it kind of came from, and I'll have to look the history up, but I suspect Bagliete had a lot to do with how it was all coming together and how it was all invented, because if you ever owned or checked out a Bagliete, it is coffee under pressure also. It is using the heating of the water and the steam activation and the pressure from within the vessel of the water chamber to push itself up through the coffee to deliver a concentrated coffee mix in the top chamber. So I suspect Bagliete had something to do with it in the early days. I definitely know for sure that Kimberly was one of the very, very first espresso coffee makers in Italian history. So those guys were at the very, very forefront. They also, don't even know this, actually they own the brands Faima and they own Slayer. Which that one I didn't know. That was new to me.
That might be new to everyone.
I don't think so. Maybe I've heard a rumor around that place, but anyway. Actually I thought anyway, whatever. So, what makes a great espresso? The very basics, we go back, the very basics of what make a great coffee, make a great espresso. Good quality water is the number one ingredient. Great coffee is also a great coffee. So coffee that you like makes a great espresso. Now, everybody out there is going to be completely different. What are you, Ami?
Someone just let me know on the live that our website is down for ordering. Cannot order on our website right now. So we'll look into that as soon as this is over.
Great. We'll fix that. No problem. I'll check on that. Probably need to
Thank
do a
you,
quick
Laura,
update.
for letting us know. We're gonna figure out.
Do a quick update. Where was I? So, great coffee. Bless you. There's lots and lots and lots of different ways that we can describe great coffee. Some people like it very, very dark. Some people like it not so dark. Some people love the fruity aspects of it. But espresso and coffee, in its purest form, whether you're having a latte, a cappuccino, a flat white, or you're just having a double shot espresso, the base ingredients are where it's at. If you need to add lots and lots of bits and pieces, then you've really got to question the quality of the coffee that you're drinking as the base point and the espresso point. If you really like those sugary flavored drinks, then that's awesome. But you don't need a machine like this. You don't need to have good quality beans. You can just kind of throw whatever you want in it and add the flavors and the syrups and whatever else you need after the fact. But that being said, the basis of a great espresso has some guidelines. Now I say there's no rules. Espresso starts getting a little bit rule. There are actually rules, and there are very close guidelines to what you really need to do to have a great espresso. First and foremost, an espresso, single shot espresso is 1 ounce. Look at these, we've got our Espresso shot glasses. So Espresso is a fantastic brand of espresso. Expensive, but very, very, very good. Really well made internally. Espresso, single shot is 30 mils or 1 ounce. A double shot is 2 ounces or 60 milliliters in the metric system. Most of these machines, most of the home machines are pre-programmed, and they have a single shot and a double shot button, and they output volumetrically. Same as the lots and lots of the commercial machines are volumetric. They can be by weight these days, which is a pretty cool way to do it. Actually, I think the industry is very much there these days. We do a 2-to-1 extraction, coffee to extraction ratios. But the home user, you only have to worry about what the machine's set to and check it and calibrate it and run it that way. So a single shot espresso is 7 grams. Under the SCA guidelines, it is 7 grams of coffee. Let's look here. 7 grams of coffee in a single group basket. This will fit 7 grams of coffee, and this one has got an onboard grinder. One of the best things about this little machine, it's got its own little onboard grinder. 7 grams for a single shot, and 14 grams for a double shot. Now that is the SCA standards, and we were talking to Simona yesterday, and she was talking about Italy. The standard shot is 7 grams. That's what it is. That's actually Italy are behind the Italian government to help them ensure that every single shot within the country is under specific guidelines and set up that way. So, and the Italian Espresso is a huge organization behind it all. But anyway, 7 and 14. That's the standard under the SCA guidelines. The actual these days is anywhere up to, even in competition, we were using 22 grams and 22 gram baskets. But the norm these days, I would say, in most cafes is an 18 gram basket. This is not the standard basket. This is a laser cut FTS. I think it's an FTS. FST, one of those brands that make the VST, laser cut, precision made. This one fits about 16 to 18 grams out of this group basket. So that's what we use in the industry. Makes it easier, makes it much more rich. That's what the specialty guys use. I don't know about the big boxes and the big brands. They probably don't use that much as well. They probably only use 14 if they're lucky. So what what do we need? We need water, we need coffee, we need a machine that delivers water under pressure, as this fella does. You can get the really, really basic. We've got a Mr. Coffee, right? There's a little tiny Mr. Coffee that runs under steam pressure and extracts the.
Yes.
Makes it. It's called
about,
a one shot or something like that.
No, it's steam. It's called steam.
Yeah.
Right, and I think it's $40. You can get it at Walmart or Target.
Makes espresso.
Yeah. You can also steam milk with it, so it's a fun little thing to experiment with.
But if you're looking to really looking to up your game at the espresso game at home, and you really want to show off to your friends and really want to have a nice little piece of kit on the kitchen counter, this guy is a great place to start. They retail for like what, $600, I think total.
Yes. Maybe
between $400 and $600. That's with a grinder on board. So remember that if you're doing espresso, you're always going to need a grinder. I'm going to say it's not a great thing to have the shop like ours grind espresso for you and then take it home. The biggest thing I say, and the reason I say that, is because you can't control the variable that you need to control your shot times all happens at the grinder. And if you can't control your extraction and your shot times because you're making adjustments on the grinder, then you're stuck. So however hard you can tamp and whatever pressure the machine's delivering at, that's going to be your shot time, and you're that's it. So there's no adjustment. So you either have a machine like this without the grinder, and you have a grinder on the bench beside it. You have a machine with a grinder inbuilt, which is pretty cool. And that's about the best options, honestly. And I've got a couple of grinders over there. I've got some fancy ones, and we'll go into the advanced stuff a little bit after this. But so what do we do? One thing I'd like to do, and I always talk to you guys about consistency, and I always talk to you about a scale. I think a home scale, is one of the most important coffee tools for the upcoming coffee gig. Honestly, if you really want to take your game to a new level, you have to have a scale. Whether it's a nice fancy one like this or a regular kitchen scale you can buy at Walmart, it doesn't matter. As long as it measures in grams, that's all you really need. And what does it matter and why do we do it here in Espresso? The reason is so we can be consistent. With this machine, it doesn't have any measurement or any stop scale for the weight of the amount of coffee here in the basket. So if you're chasing a shot and you're chasing the timing of a shot, it's all down to how hard you tamp and the fineness of your grind. Now hopefully you've gotten to tune your tamping method and style to be consistent. Where are the tamps?
Up above, on the shelf, eye level.
So we teach, and it's the old school way still, to keep it basic at home. We teach like a 30-30-30, all right? So we teach 30 pounds of pressure for tamping. When you fill your coffee group head in here and you tamp down, 30 pounds of pressure. We teach our guys to practice on a bathroom scale, on the kitchen countertop on a bathroom scale, to work out and to get the feel of a 30 pound push. And the shot is 30 mils, right, to 30 seconds for a single shot, 60 for a double, and still running in that 30-second shot range. So we're looking for 18 grams of coffee, around about 16 to 18 grams of coffee out of the grinder. We're looking for about 30 pounds of pressure to tamp, and we're going to be putting it in here, and we're looking for a 28 to 30 second shot time. From there, we can make adjustments to the grinder, but technically, that's what we're looking for as the outline of each one of our shots. So, how am I so far? On track? Mm-hmm. So we're going to bang this in here. You girls are going to yell at me if I'm missing anything, right?
Yeah. I think something that can be fun to talk about too is whether you should use the single origin or a blend, and kind of the differences in that. But that's something you can talk about kind of really is the basics, and you can technically use any coffee you would like to make espresso.
Yes.
So,
Is Alicia here?
no, she doesn't seem
I was
to be
hoping
here yet.
she'd be here, then we could shortcut the process. Alright, so I've ground a bit of coffee. We're at 0. I'm going to have to redo that to check on what we got there. But the idea is to zero that out. Then what we'll do is we'll use, I think she got a temp mat. I'll bring the temp mat over, make it proper. I was actually meant to bring the puck press out. I was going to grab the puck press out, cheat. I'll go for it from the basics. Alright, so got a nice Reg Barber tamp. Keep it nice and dry, keep it clean on the surface. What I like to do initially is lay it down in the puck. This is really, really fine, so I can already tell. I can tell from experience this is going to be it's probably going to be a failed shot because it's going to take too much. Lay it up into the group handle and make sure that the bed of the coffee is even. You can see around the edges. That's what I'm doing. I'm feeling the edge of the tamp, and I'm also feeling the edge of the group basket to get a nice flat surface of coffee. Now I'm not going to tamp this one down because I know I've already gone too fine. So I'm going to put a little bit there, and we're going to have a really, really long shot.
So what's going to happen if it's too fine?
Too fine, the water's not even going to go through. That's what I'm going to bet here right now. 2 shots. I'm going to run a double shot on this, and let's see.
I shared a link into the Home Espresso aficionados group.
Did you?
So,
So actually,
joins us from
it's proving me wrong, which is good. It is a little
Wow.
fine. It is pulling a great
Wow.
shot though.
Oops.
Physically looks like a great shot. I'm here to say that it's stretching itself a little bit. So over extraction, going too long on the shot time is going to give you more bitter tastes.
Did you time that?
No. So I'm just gonna. This is my first shot. I'm just gonna let it run through, check what's going on. But a couple of things to look for. Yeah, the girl's already saying it. A couple of things to look for. This here, this top layer here, you see the liquid, the liqueur and the liquid down the bottom here. That's the coffee drink. This piece here at the top, that nice foamy, creamy looking caramel honeycomb color, that is crema. Now that is the oils and the extractions, the oils extracted and pressurized out of the coffee in dissolution with the sugars. So, if you've got a great coffee, good sign, first of all, a sign of a fresh roasted coffee, or a good quality coffee, is the crema. Alright, the crema, the fact that it's just hanging in there like that is ideal. The guys will tell you out there in the industry, it's fairly thick, which is also a great sign. Dripping off the counter, it's dripping off the spoon, not running. And it will taste, this one will probably taste decent. But this time round, we're gonna go from so that was a basic shot. This is the first shot I pulled this morning. That's what I always do, just make sure the machine's operating, make sure my shot's looking okay, and then it gives me a base point to start from. What I can do now is zero out my scale with my group head. I'm going to zero out my scale with my group handle, and so I know I'll now get my words right. I now know how much coffee I'm going to put in to the group into the group basket. So we'll put that up there. Turn this on.
Words.
Do you need that coffee?
Difficult.
Walking over my words.
This morning.
And I'm experimenting with a new coffee too, so this is always a little bit of a challenge. And up here, you can see on this machine in particular, it's got really, really basic settings on the top here. It's got coarse for faster extraction, medium, fine for slower extraction. It actually calls it out over the side there. Down the bottom here, you've got numbers on the scale, which gives you an adjustment of the grinder, more coarse and more fine for each way. And like it says up in here, it says the more coarse you are with your grind, the faster the extraction. which gives you an indication of where you want to be on the timing. The finer you go, the longer the extraction or the harder it is to get the water through the grounds. So we're going to grind off a little bit here. I'm going to give myself a rough idea of how much coffee we're going to run with. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to look for about 15 to 18 grams, 16 to 18 grams of coffee in the group basket. It does seem pretty fine because I was able to, the tamp fell down into the grounds there before. But I've been doing this a little while, so...
David Certain is here.
Ah, Mr. Certain. Alright, what do we got going on here? 15. So we'll just put a little bit extra. We'll just tap that down, give it some space.
So you're looking for 18 grams?
No, I'm going to run about 16, I'd say.
16?
16. And then if I was messing around and doing the volumetric stuff, I could do with 16 grams, like that, right there. 16 grams of coffee, I can do a 32 gram extraction by weight. But we're not going to go that place just yet. We're going to run with volumetric and time. Alright, so we've got 16 grams of coffee. I'm going to place the tamp in the top there. I really am not going to have to push down on this one very, very hard. I know the coffee is fine. I know that it's extracting pretty well. I'm just going to give it a little tweak, probably about 10 to 15 pounds of pressure maybe.
So you know it's right when you can kind of pinch the grounds together and they stay, right?
To your
Like
finger,
almost like you could build sand castles with it.
Yep, for sure. Alright, into the machine. We'll give the machine a little bit of a flush. Make sure our grip head's clean. There we go. Make sure our pump's primed. Into there. We'll do a let's see how volumetric comes out. We can't control the volume on these machines. Like I said, they come preset. How's my shot looking? Alright, I'm gonna hit the timer as well. Go. These little machines, the little home machines, are not set up the same as a commercial machine. On a commercial machine, we run 9 bar pressure. As you can see, this shot is too slow, too tight, way too tight, because I added the extra volume, I think, on that one. So I need to, this instantly tells me I need to make my grind fine, more coarse, and we're done. We're going to ditch this one and bail out.
Oh, I don't know, it looks so nice now.
It's going to look good, but it's not right. The other thing to from a commercial side to these guys, we know technically that these machines are set up to be using more pressure than 9 bar too. So I know on average these guys are programmed for about 11 to 15, and some of them depends on the manufacturer. But alright, there's a failed shot. Well, actually it's not failed because we're actually learning, and that's part of what's going on.
Just don't have a sniff.
So that we're learning what the machine is, and this tells us instantly we need a longer extraction time, so we're going to adjust the grinder. Ultimately, you should adjust your grinder while it's running, but it does make quite a mess in these guys, so actually we'll do this. Let's see this. We'll hold this down, we'll grind, and I'll make a couple of adjustments like that. And then we'll
So
put it there like
you adjust the grinder with it running.
that. I do.
Yes.
It's one thing I've got, it's a habit from being a technician and repairing all the machines and repairing grinders and whatnot. It's a great habit to get into. Make your adjustments on your grinders while they're running, especially espresso grinders. It is quite critical on espresso grinder because you can bind them up. You can bind them up, and then you're in a world of trouble. You actually will. You can and will blow motors and capacitors that are inside the machine, inside the grinders. So it's a great idea. And you can also jam your burrs. That's usually what happens. People make the adjustments of their espresso grinders without the machine running, and they do get the burrs bound together. And then you need to either know how to pull them apart or get a technician in and spend the money to get them apart. Never fun. All right. So I've made an adjustment. I've gone about 4 or 5 notches to the coarser side. I am going to grind off some more. How's that look? YouTube people there?
I lifted you up a little bit just because your head was.
Getting color?
No, it's good.
David was asking what machine this is. I told him it's a Calphalon 10th IQ. I'm not even sure if they're available right now, but it is a good example of a home machine. There are, there's.
We'll
Lots of
talk
options out
because
there.
we've got ideas that involves you, so we can talk about that. But we're looking to run a subscription model with these guys and coffee, and it'll be good for your program, and you're helping us roll this out into the homes. Great roaster like yourself. All right. I'm going to add a little bit more. I've forgotten to zero out my scale. Turned it off.
Rookie mistake.
Rookie mistake. So anyway, we're going to roll that into there, and I can already feel that it is coarser. The group basket is more full. I'm going to add a little bit of pressure to this one. Clean. Make sure your ceiling face on the top here is clean of grounds. Flush the roof head. Back in here. We'll ditch this one. Hit the double start. Go. See what we got. Ooh, a little bit tight, but no, this may not be too bad. This is probably going to go over a little bit.
Looks nice though.
It does look good.
Beautiful crema.
We're at 22. I'd say we're getting close actually.
15.
It might be just a fraction over. Oh, that's a 28 grand. That's a 28 second shot. I will take that. If anywhere between 28 and 30 seconds is where I'm looking to have the shot. And look at that's a monster crema. So I mean, this is an experimental blend, like I said. It is built. This one is built to have with milk. This is flat out. I built it that way as an espresso and as a blend. This one is an absolute milk drink based espresso.
So this is the Down Under 2.0.
This is Down Under 2.0.
Alicia just joined. She says that is beautiful.
Where is our steaming jugs?
Bottom, behind the little grinder.
So we're gonna steam this one up.
What are you using there to put? Is that a plant-based milk?
It is a plant-based milk. It's not the best one. Yeah, actually, can you check in with the roasting house to have a delivery today? FedEx delivery for the test units.
Alicia said her phone was on meltdown. That's why she's late. This one was actually just for you, Alicia, today.
We got tell her that? Oh, we already did. So that's what I was up to. I was actually doing this video to help out somebody not close to us, but is going to be working with us hopefully to do the Espresso 101. So these guys, this machine actually does pretty well. This oat milk is pretty reasonable. We've been using it in the shops. It is not as good as the one we are about to roll out, but it is a good supplement, very good, easy to get, very good, what do you call it, replacement? Making a little bit too much noise there. Amy and Deal had one. Get me in trouble there, sure. Make sure you wipe the wand. Always wipe your wand.
Or you'll end up
Am I
with a
gonna
corn
hand this
dog.
off to you and you're gonna do the magic?
Do you want me to?
Oh no, her home espresso machine went tits up this morning.
Oh no. I didn't use enough milk.
We had to loan our commercial one that we normally have at home to a customer. So we've been drinking brewed coffee all week. But that's how much we love our wholesale customers. We will do anything for them, including sacrifice our own
Whole machine.
morning coffee. How is it? So steamed oat milk, beautiful 28-second espresso shot.
So that was an ideal shot, and it was an ideal combination, and that's a solid drink.
That's delicious.
Yeah, I'm the most critical of my own coffee, but that actually
It's
tastes
like
like it has a flavouring in it, and it doesn't.
caramel and butterscotch almost.
It tastes like it's got a syrup in it, and it hasn't.
That is very nice. So that is down under 2.0. That's not really available anywhere yet, but
It's
you
fully
could get the
experimented. You
regular
guys have
down
seen it.
under.
You can get the regular down under. The regular down under will be slightly, little less, a little bit. The down under 1.0 is a bit more, more medium roast and a little bit more flavour, like a little bit more fruit style flavours. So, back to what we were doing. What else do we need to know? Couple of different things, couple of different bits and pieces to remember and to work on. And when you're delivering a coffee, you know, obviously you want to have the consistency, you want to have the weight of the grounds. You can get, once you've gotten practice and you understand how your machine is working, if you're using one of these Temp IQ, Calphalon Temp IQs, and you're grinding straight into the basket, you understand, you get to see how much coffee is actually in the basket every day. If you're doing this every day, you'll get the hang of it. You won't need to measure unless you change coffee. That's the key. If you don't change your coffee, then you won't need a scale every day. But if you're changing your coffee and you want to experiment a little bit more about flavors and profiles and shot times and whatnot, then I always, like I said, a scale is your best friend as a tool for coffee and coffee geekery. Tamps are very important tools. These kind of things come with the machine. Plastic does the job initially. Doesn't fit totally correctly, but does the job. When you start getting into this game, you want to play with this game, a good quality tamp is your best friend. You can see here, I have a collection, some from great friends of mine, Reggie Barber. They're all actually Reggie Barber tamps. One was bought for me. The rest, Reggie's being so kind to make them for us. We've got some really, really cool ones in the shop. Those laminated ones in the colours and blue, and oh, they're beautiful. But
so what is the normal size for a group basket? Because that's important when you're choosing a home machine, right?
So that's a great question, because ultimately the commercial machines in general, Simonelli, Rancilio, you know, the others, there's Lamas Orca and whatnot, Famer, Kimberley. The regular group basket size, the general industry size, is 58 millimeters. 58 millimeters from side to side is the diameter, and it's the most common. The home machines, on the other hand, are not. This one is. This is one of the greatest assets, I think, of this machine, is that it's using commercial-based 58 millimeter group baskets, which is excellent for all you out there, and it's also a great consistency because it actually has a nice wide base to be able to have your extraction and have your water contact. The more water contact in the bigger surface area, the more extraction you're going to get, and the more broader flavors are going to be exposed. The water to the coffee exposure, the extraction.
And it allows you to buy a really nice tamp.
It allows you to buy a really nice tamp. There are other machines back home, they range anywhere from 43 to 53 millimeters, which is quite crazy. They get quite small, which means if you're looking at a basket like this, you've got a broad area to make the extraction, and it channels down into the one point at the bottom, and it comes out the two little spouts. The smaller you make this, the more vertical you're making your coffee bed, and the higher chance that you're over extracting the top of the coffee and under extracting the bottom layer of the coffee bed. If you do it broader and shallower, you're actually extracting more of the coffee more equally all the way through the coffee bed. So that's how you get it technically. Sometimes I get lost in geekery. I'll stay away from that.
Once you get your systems in place, though, it really is a matter of muscle memory.
It is.
And also visually, you will know what enough coffee looks like in your basket. So
Yep.
you can measure it every morning if you want, but
Well, that's what I was saying. You get to understand your machine. You're doing it every morning. You get to see that you're actually. You can get to see volumetrically what you're making, how you're making it. But it's a good point. And the other part is that what I was leading to before I got sidetracked myself, was you, the human. It's about how consistent you can train yourself with muscle memory. Just like Amy said, she helped trigger that memory. Muscle memory. It's about your method of tamping, and it's also about your strength of tamping. You know, you want to be able to replicate this part every day. You want the adjustability here, not here, and not here. Okay, this is where you adjust your time of your shot. It's always up on the screen. It's always up on the whether you're using an onboard grinder or you're using a standalone grinder, the adjustment of the shot time always comes from the grinder. It should never be you, the human, and it should never be the machine in volumetrically. So practice, practice, practice. You want to make sure you get a good tamp, good method. You know, the method that we teach is keeping the arm straight, keeping the forearm over the wrist, and keeping that part of the body straight. It helps to reduce injuries and it helps to create a much better lever if you're using the bigger muscle pieces in your arm and your shoulders to get the consistency. If you're doing this, there's no power there. That wrist joint point, there's no power and there's no leverage and there's no muscle memory. You've got nothing to control. It's like this. It's not working. We've seen this over and over and over and over in the commercial industry where people just go, oh yeah, that's it, we're good. And the first shot will be 10 seconds, the next shot will be 7 seconds, the next shot will be 15
there's
seconds.
too many variables.
The next shot will be 23 seconds. There's no consistency, there's too much variability, and that is what kills espresso and the ability to make great espresso. So, wrist straight, use your hands. You can put your fingers down at the neck of the tamp, and it helps give you a good solid boost. These things are built to be in your palm, so you can always put that in your palm of your hand, and always have your fingertips down there with the heel of your hand doing all the work. Right? We do down, press once, and we rotate 90 degrees. It gives you a nice polished base on the grip handle. So let's do that again. We'll do that zeroed out. We're gonna go from scratch.
David loves your explanation on that.
Do it good. Those of you who need to check out, if you're over there in New Mexico, or any one of those places up that way, Colorado, New Mexico, you got to check out BM Coffee. David does an amazing job. He's a great roaster, good friend, and they're hopefully getting back on their feet over there in the crazy part of the country. All right, that's 15 grams. We're gonna go for 16, so a little bit more. I just tipped some out too. Let's see what I did this time. Making a mess. Perfect 16. Over here on the tamp, I can do it on the tamp mat. Lay it up. Lay the tamp in place. Get a nice flat bed, even surface. Go away. And then use your system over the top. This one I'm not going to do much of a tamp because I know.
Straight line from his elbow.
Did I do it? Did I do what I?
You did.
So we're going to do a quick rinse of the group bed. Prime the pump. Perfect. We'll time it. We'll cross check it and time it. Make sure we're on target. Just learn a new trick with this machine. Alright, ready? I can let go and push the button down and then let it go and it starts the shot. So it's from the time you press the button. Alright, it's not the time that you start seeing the coffee coming from here. It's actually when you press the button is when you start your stopwatch. Little tip there. As This one's going to turn out pretty close. We're at 25. Look at that, 26. Close. Good shot. Probably need to tighten it up just a tiny little bit. There's two ways to do that. We can actually, if you're playing around and you're doing the experimentation at home, there's two things you can do. You can tighten down on your espresso grind just a fraction. That would just move that. When I say tighten down, I mean make it a little bit finer. Or you can add a fraction more coffee. If you added 1 more gram of coffee, that would pull that shot time. It would pull it in from 26 to 28 just with 1 gram of coffee. So, but whatever you do, once you find the magic place, then you need to remember exactly what you've done so you can replicate that over and over and over again.
And that allows you to make small adjustments too and experiment with some new ways.
Absolutely. Look, I've done a lot of work with the SEO. I've done a lot of all of their courses. I've done all of their barista stuff. I've done all of the machine maintenance and espresso and the anatomy of espresso, and to a point where we've experimented with grinding 2 different coffees into the same group head, or 3 different coffees into the same group head in different combinations to change the flavor of the shot. So, it takes experimentation. It takes change and thinking outside the box to look at how many flavors you can extract. In the new machines, we were talking to the lady from Chimbley yesterday, and my question to her was, what are some of the single biggest technical advancements that have had an impact on coffee flavor, in espresso flavors? And because we know we've got access to machines that do temperature profiling, pressure profiling, pre-infusion, all that stuff. And hers was, as I suspected, it was the temperature profiling has the largest impact on coffee flavors. Temperature, yeah.
Alicia asked if you could talk about what happens if you have loose grounds in your basket, in your basket, or an uneven tamp, extra
Great
grinds
question.
just kind of rolling around in there.
That's not pouring very well. Oh, well. I've got a stingray on the top.
It's not the latte artist,
I'm not the
folks.
latte artist, she's over there. Excellent question. So let's look at that. What happens if you have coarse grounds? Like if the grounds are too coarse, we'll talk about that first. The grounds are too coarse, you're going to get a very fast shot, very sour. The shot will actually come through tasting more sour than most anything, because it hasn't had time to. It's only had time to make contact and extract the acids that deliver those flavors, and it hasn't had time to back pressured enough to extract and dissolve the sugars, more importantly, and the oils that you really want to combine with that. So you get a super fast shot will come up sour. If you're tamping unevenly, if you do this and you say, yeah, that's okay, and I'm good with that, all right, and you've created a coffee bed that is like this in the basket, and actually what you've ended up with is a wedge of a coffee bed. The water looks for the least path of resistance. So instantly the coffee, when the water comes out of the group head and the coffee is sitting like this, the water just goes, oh, I'm all going down here because this is the easiest way, and I'm going to just pull all of my flavor out of this tiny little piece. And what it does is what we call channeling in the shot, and so it will leave a lot of the flavors. It will under and over extract all in the one shot. So the shot will be both bitter and sour in the shot, because the coffee hasn't had time to. Same thing again. The coffee hasn't had time to melt the sugars and extract the sugars and the good oils. It's only had time to go through, under extract the really early parts of the shot and over extract, because it's continually going down through that one channel, and it's just pulling all of the bad out with it as well. So yeah, that all accumulates in under and extracted and over extracted shots very, very quickly. What else? Channeling's a big one. That's what we talk about a flatbed. That's what we always talk about, making sure your tamp is dry. If your tamp is not dry, when you take it out of the bed, when you pull it back out of the bed of coffee, you will actually see pieces of coffee sitting on your tamp head, and you've now given the water another point of channel. Like instantly that bed's not even and flat. Instantly you've found a crack for the water to go through, and it goes through the path of least resistance. So yeah.
Ruthie's here.
Channeling. Who?
Ruthie Lovelace.
Fire more at me. Alicia, this one's for you.
David asks if the water speaks with an Aussie accent.
You know everything in my house speaks with an Aussie accent, mate. You know that better than anyone. Like yours and the Colombian in yours.
Alicia is asking, how long is your shot good for? Can you pour a bunch of shots and wait for customers to walk through the door?
That depends on the coffee. We do not recommend that. If you're having to do that, then that's awesome. That means you've got a great clientele and you've got a great amount of people coming through the door, which is awesome. But if you're having to be that far in advance and prep for them, that means you've either not got the right machine in place or you've not got the right systems in place to be able to handle that kind of crowd quickly and efficiently. Ultimately, I'm not a huge fan of triple heads, only because they get underutilized most of the time. I am a fan of doubles for sure, because you can use both sides of the machine at the same time with 2 steam wands and 2 group heads, which is about the maximum anyway, because if you're running three groups, yeah, you can throw down a couple extra shots, but you're stuck with a steam wand unless you got someone steaming all the time. There are ways and means to get around that. Like we've talked about many times, we use a full automated machine in the roasting house, and it is fantastic for that part. The production that comes out of that machine is amazing. You can do 180 drinks an hour.
And if you're going to use manual, you definitely want to use a puck press.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I was going to say. Some of the tools that are available to the professional side of things, guys like this is one of the best tools we've had. We actually run with 1 or 2 in our cafe. Our cafe is traditional, so our cafe runs a double group Rancilio machine. Has been doing for 8 years, and they use one of these guys. This is called a puck press. It's an automated puck tamping machine. So this one's actually set up for this grip handle. I've got grip handles everywhere, of course, in my kitchen, like everyone. This is set up for the Rancilio grip handle. You just slide it in there. This tamps it down to the pressure that we've preset. On the side here, you can make the adjustments of 20, 30, 40 pounds of pressure. It takes as long as this, and I'm not kidding if you get to see it live, and I can set it up live, you do this and it's done. It's that quick, and how it tamps every single shot. So one of these parked between the grinder and the espresso machine saves inconsistencies. This removes the human error of shot tamping.
Which is very important in a commercial setting, not
Very,
so
very
much
important.
at home.
No.
So we have a new person here asking if it's worth using a WDT tool. Is it necessary? So I'm guessing that's one of the
look,
the
honestly,
distributors?
yeah, it's just it's a flattening. That's each to their own. Look, the guys who compete at the World Barista Champions, you'll find some of them use it and some of them don't. What's her name?
At Onyx?
Yeah.
Age,
It's a J something, isn't it?
no, it's an A, I think.
Andrea.
Andrea.
Sorry, Andrea.
Is it Amy?
So it's Andrea. So I'm pretty sure Andrea doesn't use one. I think it's a tool. You can, but the price they charge for them is crazy. $150 to make sure that the bed is flat prior to tamping it down, versus what I did here, and I've got an all-in-one.
Yeah, you just use your fingers on the edge of the
Yeah.
thing and you can tell.
I don't use them, and I continually look at them because used to be my trade. I could make them, kind of like, well, if everyone's paying $150 for a $20 piece of stainless steel, then I'm all for it. But it's a bit, I can't justify it, but I don't discredit it either. Lots of people swear by them, lots of people use them, but that doesn't stop you. Here's the other thing: it doesn't stop you from messing up the tamp. Like you can flatten out your grounds and you can flatten out the bed, but if you miscue the tamp in your hand, you're back to square one. So you got to really look and think about that one.
And don't you think that tool was really developed for professional baristas in a busy cafe? Because ensuring that everyone's flat and not having to touch it with your hands.
I think, me personally, I think it just adds another step, which means it increases the production time, which means decreases the efficiencies. So,
of course.
You know, versus a machine like that, you know, you make one investment and you've got that one machine sitting on your bench and you're going grind, tamp, group head, grind, tamp, group head, grind, tamp, group head. Instead of going grind, flatten, tamp, group head.
And those are the baristas that are throwing the shot out because
yeah, as an owner, you really don't want us to get into that discussion. Efficiency and cost efficiency is massive. The milk aspect of, you know, weighing the milk and understanding the exact amount of milk that needs to go into one of these. You know, even I've left over, and when you start adding that up and you pour it into a bucket, 5 gallons a day can be consumed and thrown out that way. So huge cost advantages and disadvantages. Anyway, espresso. Fire espresso questions at him. And remember, they're my opinions. There's lots and lots of, I got great friends of mine out there. I got World Barista Champions, I got World AeroPress Champions, I got World Coffee Roasting, US Coffee Roasters Champions. They're all buddies of mine and all close to me that will call me out if I'm making mistakes or saying the wrong thing. So fire them at me, and I'm here to help make better espresso, especially at home. You know, the espresso here in the US, espresso at home is a very, very small market in comparison. You know, back home in Australia, I think just about every, you know, I would have to say 60% plus, and Chris Ellie can correct me on this, more than 60% of the houses at home will have an espresso machine similar to this on their kitchen counters. So I think there's a huge market for them here in the US, and I think as part of being the innovation team, we're going to be developing machines that can help take the scary parts away from espresso. And lessons like this, watching me do it here at the home and understanding and taking notes of what I'm doing, definitely help get you way ahead of anything else and get you comfortable with using this. It's not hard and it's not rocket science. It is purely practice and some patience and some really good guidance and teaching, and you're golden, honestly. And you know, it's not everyone's thing, but it's a lot of people's thing. You know, save yourself, you know, tons and tons of money and make your espresso shots at home. Use Torani syrups and use all the good stuff that we use.
Use the best fresh coffee you can find.
Use the best fresh coffee you can find.
Number one.
Go in, talk to your roaster. Look, the guys who know what they're doing and the guys who are good roasters will stand there and talk to you about their coffee all day long because they know it. It's their business. It's their passion. Yeah, like this is our espresso blend, and I built this one. This blend is built to either be in milk or not. So I make sure that I've got a coffee that can be made as a Americano or a double shot, or it can go in as a latte, a flat white, or a cappuccino. So
you have about 2 minutes left.
Fire questions at me. We got any?
Tell anyone anything that's going on?
So Alicia, no, I don't think sitting espresso shots on the counter waiting for customers to come in is a good idea. I always like to have them fresh and ready to go. What else we got going on? We got any specials going on at Oceana Coffee?
20% Tuesday is Tuesday.
Tuesday, recharge your card, right? Mm-hmm. Come in, charge your card up. We give you 20% extra. So you come in and throw $100 on it, we put $120 on it for you. So
right.
Come and check that out. We're going to check into the website, make sure it's up and running. We've had a bit of a challenging week with that one, but we're going to get there with it. What else?
Joe is down at Thoroughfare today. If you're in West Palm Beach and you want to go visit our pop-up down there, have a nice stroll down by the waterfront.
If you want to see a beautiful, fully automatic machine in operation, Joe's running the Eversys down there. So that's on Clematis Street, West Palm Beach, before taking a stroll. Where else are we?
Both of our shops are open.
Cranking away.
Yep. I think that's about it.
Now I gotta go play soccer coach.
Time to win soccer games.
Time to go play soccer coach. So, alright, hopefully you guys got a ton of questions out of it. If you're watching this on YouTube, write down the questions on the bottom, subscribe, like, share it. And if you got any questions, honestly, throw them at me. If you got any comments, throw them at me too. More than happy to hear and see and be part of the feedback. That's it.
Yeah.
Done.
See you.
Anything else?
Sign me off. Bye.
David
now.
says, "Gracias, Scotty, you rock."
Good to see you, champ. We'll catch up again soon.
Bye bye.
Cocktail.
Yep.
Cocktail.
Say bye.
5 o'clock or 5:30?
Say it.
I don't know. I gotta check on my stints. I think around 5, between 5 and 5:30.
All right, cocktail time.
Say bye.
Bye.
Ciao, people. Is that off?
I just ended it, yeah.
We had a lot of people join from that group.